Well, welcome back, y'all. How you doing? Anyway, chapter 4. Well, I thought we'd just have a little bit of fun with the beginning of this here chapter 4. Chapter 4 is going to be, well, what was the title we had decided on chapter 4? Fun and Games. Fun and Games. We left off chapter 3 where we kind of figured out that when you act your most natural self, it feels pretty darn good. Well, that's not a bad thing. Feeling good is a good thing. We are in agreement about that, I hope. Arvin? My name is Arvin. Okay. This is chapter 4 of audiobook The Prophet by Phoenix Rising. It's a New Way Forward production. The new way forward is peace and love. And no, I ain't old enough to be a hippie. Even in your time, you must have some kind of recollection or some kind of historical reference to the hippies. They tried you, but they got subversified. Some folks were just having a little too much fun and self-indulgence and didn't realize the respectfulness of it all. A wise man by the name of the Dalai Lama, that's what's the title anyway, once said, "Moderation in everything, with the exception of love. Give love your all." Well, I'm not going to preach down to nobody about what they can and cannot do. I will warn them about some of the problems of forgetting about moderation. Anything can be bad for you. Anyhow, chapter 4, Fun and Games. In your timeline, it is the end of that age when people looked at productivity. And they never, ever, well, I wouldn't say never, ever. There's most folks never caught on to the truth. And the truth is a real simple thing. People are never more productive and never more accurate than when they're having fun. If you enjoy what you're doing, it's not work. That was a saying at one time. If you find something that you love to do, then getting up in the morning every day isn't a chore. It's an act of love. You're happy. Happy people don't cause trouble. Happy people share their happiness. So not only is it a good idea to keep people happy, it's more productive. Well, now that we're switching from an economy of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and love and joy and happiness, why do you think that that one particular country in your particular time frame included pursuit of happiness? It never said pursuit of wealth, pursuit of money. It never said that. Money is supposed to be a convenience. Okay? Wealth, well, wealth, there's all kinds of different kinds of wealth. You can have the wealth of health, the wealth of family, the wealth of joy is wealth. Profit, and I don't mean the kind that preaches like the prophet I'm talking about. I mean people, planet, and profit. The original meaning of that profit meant benefit. Prosperity. Well, what is prosperity? When everybody's got good. See, if you believe in equality, if you believe in respect, if you believe in love, if you believe in God, and I don't care by which name you want to call God, makes no difference. You could be a naturalist, a spiritualist. You could pray to Gaia. Gaia is a god. Gaia is the earth. It's like that spiritualist in Africa that sat with a prophet and said, God's everywhere. God is the universe. We just have different names for how God acts or what God does. But there's only one God, the Creator. Yeah, you hear him in the background. He's not a happy camper today. He's been quite spoiled. Yeah, I know. I love animals. Well, I love everybody, but animals and little children especially. Because from when I was young, and the people, a lot of older people, weren't that nice to be around because of their own personal issues and their own fears and frustrations that they allowed and inflicted on those around them. Whereas most animals and babies were pretty innocent, and as long as you treated them with respect, they were pretty damn good to you. So I've got a soft spot still for little children, babies, and little children and animals. The prophet said, he told me one day, he said, do you know why Jesus said, suffer the little children unto me? Well, the word translation wasn't a real good one when they changed it from Aramaic into English. Suffer means please let them come. So we didn't have to be suffered with the adults that were around him trying to tell him all the bad things that he had been worried about. They recharged his batteries. Innocent love. The most blessed people in the world are those that have no fear in them, no hatred, or very little, or that are in a position, well, even when it does come in, they let it go real quickly. Down syndrome. When I was growing up, there were a lot of folks. There were a portion of the society had Down syndrome, and the prophet I worked with autism and Down syndrome, and what was in those days they called it mental challenges or whatever. They weren't. They were emotionally rich. Imagine somebody that could be treated poorly by other people and within minutes let it go completely instead of dwelling on it for 20 years or 30 years. That's emotionally rich, not mentally challenged. Perspective. Fun and games is all about perspective. When you learn to look at life in such a way, and well, we've made jokes about my glasses, and well, I've been teased about them all over the world. But when I've been teased about them with smiles and with love on the streets of Columbia in 2024 by people who are making a living picking garbage off the streets, finding out how to recycle some of that stuff so they could feed their family. You'd think that'd be a rough job. Some of them even slept on the streets. And some of those people that have it on next to nothing were the ones who would offer me a fresh apple. I remember one day, a couple of young men from the countryside were there. And they were sleeping in a park, and it happened to be a park where I would go every morning to pray with my guitar. I was following the path of the prophet because he had done the same in the same place. I don't know if it was the same park or not. We never really compared notes on that one. But these young boys, they had just come in from the countryside, and so they had bags of fruit with them. And he gave me a small bag of fruit. Now, this is somebody who just slept in the park. Gave me a small bag of fruit. I hadn't slept in the park. And he did it with such love and such respect that I accepted it. And a little bit later, we planned to meet up a little bit later that day. And I came and I shared some bread and some sausage and some other things with them to say thank you. That bag of apples I shared throughout that entire day to other people that were working and living on the street. One of those gentlemen commented on my glasses. He's saying, "You have the right perspective." I goes, first he out of the blue, he says, "I love your glasses." He goes, "Are they expensive?" And I said, "No, they weren't." He goes, "I love them. They give you the right perspective, don't they?" And he had an ear to ear grin when he said it. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, they approve my vision." He goes, "No," he says, "they're rose-colored glasses. You see everything pretty." And I thought about it for a while. I know the expression rose-colored glasses, and I know the meaning behind it and everything else. But he wasn't talking about an expression. He was talking from the heart. You see everything pretty, don't you? And I spent the rest of the day thinking about that. And it went back to something the prophet had told me about 3.5 months earlier about perspective, about looking for the beauty in life. Seek and ye shall find, ask and it shall be given. Think about that. Now, I don't know if you know what I mean when I say think about that. Let's put it into a little bit of a parable for y'all. See if I can copy something. See if I can pull something out like the prophet used to. I'll see. If you are looking for your lost pair of glasses because you don't remember where you put them, which happens to me on occasion, usually it's because they fell from where I put them. And so when I go look for them, they weren't there, and I didn't bother getting down on my hands and knees and look all around under furniture or where they might be. That's just me. But seek and you shall find. If I'm looking for glasses, I'm not going to find, I might find a lot of things. Other things, like it might be a comb on the floor or something like that. God, it could be almost anything, couldn't it? But if I'm not looking for it, I probably don't pay attention to it because I'm focused on what I'm looking for. I want to pause for a second. We're back.